What is up, guys? Welcome back. Part 2, guys. I got text message you guys, people saying they wanted part 2. So, I'm making part 2 for you. We ended off going into the basement, guys. Let's see where we stopped right here. As we go down here, we can already see what there might be down here, guys. Washing machine, dryer, pool table, baby stuff down here. Nothing really right here. We go in here. Sven's workshop. Here's the buzzsaw he must have fallen onto.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
It's a woody version of it.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Yo. Okay. The fridge in the basement is a door. Yo. It's so dark.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone.
It's so dark down here.
She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Wow. Yes, guys, my sisters are talking in the background. They're both here. Oh, here's another memory, guys.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
What?
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of a door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can. I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me.
Wow.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one more day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Wow, yo, that gave me chills. Wow.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Wow, dude. Rest in peace, Walter. Rest in peace.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Let's do the fake window. Be careful, sweetie.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house,
What else did she
I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
Yeah.
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
See, when we came down here, that was empty. When it was Walter, now it's full.
Trying to bury something that's still alive.
This isn't a good idea.
Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Rest in peace, Walter.
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
This game is so beautiful, guys.
Maybe it'd be better if all this...
Wow, no, don't say that, Edith. Come on.
But I thought you should know about your family.
Yeah, your family. Might be dead, but it's not your family, Edith. Don't give up.
And the history you're a part of.
This game's beautiful, man. I'm so glad I got this.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty lost, Edith. I definitely don't know what happened to you and your family.
I
about the
think
curse.
people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Sorry, my eye got itchy. Lights start turning on.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Girl, Edith. You're going through a lot right now, you know. You're okay though.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Good family.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Burpy, Derpy, Derpy Jr., Chirpy, Burpy, Lurpy, Zerpy, Zoe, Coco, Tucker, Charlie, Daisy, Lucy, Bailey. Bob, Oliver, Shadow, Christopher, Shatsy. It's a good name for an animal, Shatsy.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Wow. So died at 11:49. 93. 43. 53, I'm sorry. Barbara. 60.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
This game can really hit your feels, man.
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
There it is, it's blinking. Look at this. And then we get a close look at it. You didn't know when.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from.
Sam's grave.
Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
43. Gregory. Poor Gregory died at only 1 year old, dude. That's fucked. It was almost his birthday, too. Gus. Wasn't that old either. It's 13. Wow, dude, this game can really get into dead people, giant family. It's more. Is Milton. Born May 19th, 1992. There's no death date. He was never found. A paintbrush above. Sanjay Kumar.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
Wow, this game's...
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday.
Hold on, guys.
And find everything out for myself.
Sorry. I had to take a moment there, guys. I'm sorry.
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Wait, what? Wait, Edith. Edith, you're 17, you're pregnant? Wait, is Edith pregnant now? Oh, Edith, don't fall. Please. Please. Oh, thank God, dude, if you're pregnant now, please do not fall. Fuck, I'm learning this now? Dude, what the fuck? Edith, are you pregnant? It's not in the ladder, wrong fucking side.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
Wow. You just missed the cemetery. That was really fucking sad. Maybe they hear it through my headphones, but I'd still watch.
They were both pretty intense.
Can you hear it through my headphones? Can you hear it? I just passed the cemetery. Okay, stuff. No.
So it was, the card was blank. Bet you don't.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
So we all put our answers down, and I put like a placenta or whatever, because there's a room full of guys. So I put placenta, and so like all these other people, Shannon puts down dead parents. Bet you don't have one. Fucking Annika gets up, and she goes, "Oh my God, Mom!" She goes, "Fuck you! Fuck you so hard!" She goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" She goes, "You would play that card?" I got up and went, "Oh no."
You mean?
She's like, "I just gotta leave the room for a minute." You're drunk, like, we're all drunk as shit. John's crying.
Oh, God.
Fucking Jared's crying. I'm fucking crying. Shannon's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Fucking, oh.
That's Sam?
We walk outside.
Yep.
She goes out to tell Joey, because Joey was in the car hotboxing with Courtney. We walk out, and I'm like, "Annika, are you
Dawn,
okay?"
I promise,
What the fuck
we'll never
happened?
forget this weekend.
What the fuck
Yes,
happened?
sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
What?
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold still while I take...
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Don, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
Fine, Dad.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish. How to...
Dad!
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Don!
Look at that picture. You missed it.
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
some-
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
So that's how Sam died.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories left. That's how Sam passed away. He got knocked off by the deer. Well, there's the camera. It sucks, man. Rest in peace, Sam. Alright, help me find a secret passage. Oh, never mind. Too late. Found it. This house is littered with fucking secret passages, Ari. It's gonna get hot and damp inside this bitch.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Now can you hear it? Oh, the baby's room. It's Gregory's room. I don't want to see this room. Because the baby died at 1 year old and his birthday was gonna hit. That's the one thing I didn't want to see was this one. After the first brother went missing, the mom went nuts and started sealing off all the doors. Oh, what is this? Oh, it's a divorce contract, man. Sam Finch. No, pick it up. I didn't mean to put it down. I want to read it. fucking divorce contract.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Look at him.
I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Yeah. Playing as Gregory now.
Gregory, it's time to...
Don't tell me
Hold on,
Gregory's
sweetie.
drowned. Don't tell me he drowned. Please don't tell me he drowned.
Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like.
Huh?
He reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw.
Imagination's amazing. Like a controlling frog. This music's so amazing.
It sure made him happy. I know how silly it sounds. That I worried about a baby being too happy. I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
Gregory, please. Shut it off, shut it off, shut it off.
There's so much I don't understand about Gregory. About everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault.
Come on, it's the most obvious thing.
I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay.
That's how Gregory.
Love, Sam.
It's the one I didn't want to fucking see when I realized there was a baby that died. It's everything that was in the tub with him too. God, this game. It was the turtle. So I don't think it wasn't the turtle. It was just the Gregory turned on the water. It was his imagination. This game really hits you in the feels, man. Gus. Oh,
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet
A poem for Gus.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea.
That's how they all died. The family is a curse, and they all die.
Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, "We don't need a stepmom," were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You make
They're
this
getting
crime.
married. Where am I flying this thing, boy?
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Oh, Gus, look, Mom. Gus, it's family photo time for the wedding, man. You can't flip off your father, dude.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Except for Gus. Gus got taken with the sun.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
Wait, they found him? No, wait, where'd they find Gus?
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
No, wait, no, I don't want to. Shut it. Open it.
Oh, and when I left Durrell Street, Micaiah, so like when I walked in, I go home, like when I left, me and Jared decided we were gonna walk her home because she needed to go home. Joey looks at Jared and goes, "Make sure that you got her back and make sure she gets home safe." And I looked at him and I responded with, "Just like you had my back that night, I think Jared's got my back."
Race flag,
Boom.
7:30, breakfast,
Yeah, it goes
8, fly
fucking
time, 11.
burn, bitch.
Duties, dawns,
Right.
sweep, trash, Gus, mop, mow yard, Greg, be a baby. Routine, jump rope, jumping jacks, push-ups, crunches, run to the mailbox and back. What do you think's next? You know, rock won't be able to climb.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
I think Edith is pregnant because she said that she's 22 weeks pregnant or something earlier. Oh, this is where her mom lived. Nice little room.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
That's them.
Oh, Jared met Mom.
Yes, we're going
Lewis
out.
was born a year later.
And unfortunately, he met Cheyenne. He met Elijah, and he met Dad.
I don't like you being
And
close to
then
the edge.
Lisa found out today that he was Joe's best friend.
When my dad died, I didn't think Mom knew where else to go.
She goes, I thought, what happened to holding off on guys for a little while? Like, yeah, well, like, whatever.
I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
I went through Joey. Me and Mom both went through Joey.
And to see kids in the house
She
again.
went, oh my god. She goes, how does that figure? And I'm like, he's Joey's best friend.
They punched everything.
Lisa goes, oh my god.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Seems like it. Yep. Yeah, they were homeschooled. Their class pet, too. This is a giant house. Look how high up I am.
But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday.
Edith, you can't fall.
When
Please tell
Edie
me
gave
Edith
him a
doesn't die at
castle.
the end of it, dude. I will cry. I'm serious. It said that Edith is pregnant or something. If she dies, I'm gonna fucking cry. I don't know. Milton's written everywhere that Milton went missing, but he ventured through the house before anyone.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Milton was a painter, and he died at the age of 11. Or he went missing at the age of 11. He was a painter. There's no way anything could have gotten in here. This is a nice room, though. Yeah, there was other rooms that they had to go through, so there's no way. Nice bed. I guess we're climbing. Oh, we're pulling this. Here he is. The one I've been waiting for.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Wow. He made a door and he's gonna walk right through it, huh? Wow, he made that? That was really good.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
She never knew what Milton looked like. This little artist. Dude, this is such a sad fucking game, man. This game really hits my feelings.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Then she shut the doors. Where do we go next? Going back out.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Oh, it's right there. I gotta go the other way. So you see how high up we are right now? Okay, look. So, see that house right there? Yeah, that's the old house. They got washed up and stuff. Look how high up we are. Look how high up we still have to go. Look at how high this fucking house is, Ari. Look at this. Look at this. So you see how far up we are? Look how high we have to go. Yeah.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Louis's room.
Wow,
except
Louis.
Louis.
Lewis got a hookah. How old is Lewis when he died? 1988, 2010. Oh, he was like 30, 20, 22? No, 32. What's going on? Like the boathouse. Look at these chairs, those are cool. Open. Oh, look at this tiny room. Wow, that's a sick room.
Lewis's room smelled very
Sam,
familiar. That part of him lived on.
Sam's. Oh, look at that. No, it's a hookah. He's got a fucking
Lewis
Nintendo
and I
up
spent
here.
a lot of time playing games together,
called a
but he was
Wonderland
surprisingly
Turbo.
bad at them. He died a lot.
Graduated. It's a hookah. Marijuana. My nigga. Legalize marijuana. He must have smoked a lot. Yeah. You guy got any bongs anywhere? Yep, there's a bowl. There's a bowl. Finch.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
Oh. Whoa, what is this?
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Back. And he knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
It's hard to do. Wait, it's over here. Anything secret? No.
But he found something more.
Wow.
I worried about him then.
It just turned into RuneScape.
Daydreaming at the cannery.
Yeah, daydreaming.
I spoke with his boss.
Watch, he's gonna lose his hand.
But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
He daydreams when he works. He doesn't focus on work.
Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery, but his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him
No way. Where did this sit?
that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor, and he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Whoa. I don't know, but this is really cool.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on.
Just throwing fish. I'm controlling everything,
New
by the way.
Louisville,
The fish and everything, it's me. Don't crash, don't crash.
St. Louis.
You crash, you're fucked.
He started
Yeah,
drifting
it's his
away from
imagination
our
at work.
reality.
Because he doesn't smoke anymore. He uses his imagination at work.
Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
One day he forgot to go home from the
Even
cannery.
as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
He completely spaced out and he didn't know what reality was. He got lost in his own imagination. That he never stopped working. It's basically what she's saying. And his mother sat there saying, come on, come home. But he didn't respond. Didn't even look at her. He kept on working with his imagination. Coco.
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
Beautiful prince or a handsome queen. Oh, the fish gonna pile up. Can't do that.
beautiful prince. The prince was on his own quest for
Radiant rainbows or sinister serpents. Serpents.
sinister serpents. He followed the sound of his
Electric altar or silver harp. I like the harp idea.
silver harp.
Wow, that's
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
What is this? Dude, what is happening in the game?
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
There's multiple fish that are piling up.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Legend. God. Became a god in his own eyes.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Wow, that transition back in. Are we him? Yep, we're him. Lewis. What is that?
He began to forget the world we know.
I thought it was unreality.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
There he is.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Ari, this man's just moving nothing. Lewis, hey. I don't even know. You're gonna wake it up.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. Holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head.
What is this taking a turn for? What is this taking a turn for? What the fuck, Ari?
Play this game.
What?
I watched Mini Lad play this game, and he had to.
The rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
He killed himself inside the factory. This is serious condolences. Rest in peace, Lewis.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Oh, it was her brother. That's not her. Holler for family. Look at the dates. 1937, 2010, 1961, 1960, 1997, 2003, 1999 to nothing. 1969, 1982, 1977. They're all different years. It's all just different. Who's next? This? Yeah. Edie, yeah, it says Edie, because I haven't done that one yet. I haven't done Dawn or Edie yet. I think those are the last two. It's gonna be Dawn first, and then it's gonna be Edie at the top. Oh, wow.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
That makes sense of why he's the hookah and everything in this room looks like this. I guy's an Indian. Pops, you good sir. I wonder he smokes cannabis.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
Look at how high up we are, Micaiah. I got a feeling this game's gonna take a turn.
I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
Huh? Got a bad feeling something's bad's gonna happen. What is this, your bed?
My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
There's Edith's room. Yep, it's Edith's room. Right up here.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now was to tell you about that last night.
What happened on that last night, Edith? I'm scared to find out. Oh God, it's your last memory. Lay down in your bed. Pick up the feather. Pick up the book. And write a new page.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
What was that gift, Edith? Oh, our babe, we're with Edith now. There's a gift in the hallway for
the power
us.
had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
Let's go inside.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
History of the Finches. Edie Finch.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born.
No way.
That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean.
That's the old house, but the water's gone. This is the ocean.
They
water
called
went
it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. I started seeing things. things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself.
Oh no, she died giving birth, didn't she? Please tell me that's not what this is.
But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
It was such a nice game, dude. Oh, it's for someone who passed away. I knew it was gonna be this.
Based on real people.
lights above there. There's Lewis. Such a good game, dude. It's Gossip Sky. Edith Finch. I knew she was gonna fucking die at the end. I knew she was gonna do it once I found out she was pregnant. I knew she was gonna die giving birth. Twins. I'm pretty sure it's just all their kids. I don't think it's actual kids, it's just the directors and people's kids, I'm pretty sure. It's gotta be. I'm pretty sure it's exactly what it is, it's just their kids. Making all this probably some no offense. Nothing on paychecks. That's it. That's it. I want to thank you guys for watching this if you did. Embarking on this very, very sad story with me. This was a beautifully designed, wonderfully developed game. I'm glad I got to play it and stream for you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Later, guys.